I went to an actual live presentation by some actual live fund managers this week. That's something I used to do on a fairly regular basis pre you know what, but which for me has been mostly confined to online webinars since then. My choice, I guess, but in person is, I have to admit, actually much better, with live interaction and the chance to ask questions verbally and not via a keyboard. And I speak as one who thought the future of financial advice was Zoom, or at least a fair bit of Zooming. Uh, that's a view on which I have to say I'm rapidly backtracking, as I now seem to be meeting actual people in their actual homes much more often, and I found I'm actually enjoying it all much more. Anyway, that's maybe for another day. The fund managers, two of them in question that I met, are active, one running a UK and one a global fund. And active, as those who know and viewers perhaps from a week or two ago will remember, does not mean that they have gym memberships, but that they actively choose the companies whose shares they buy and include in their funds after researching them and often meeting the people running those companies. In both cases, the fund managers limit the number of companies they invest in to around 60, what they call a concentrated portfolio, which in our view as advisors makes those funds high risk, because if they get it wrong in more than a couple of cases, it can have a big effect on the overall fund value. Now, the work involved means that they, quite rightly, charge more than the alternative passive funds, which you may remember use index trackers and so bypass a lot of the research and can be a lot cheaper as a result. Now, my live in-person question was whether we were doing our clients a disservice by using these passive funds, a topic which has always been much debated in our business and still is. Very interestingly, their answer was no, because they said unless you really do look below the bonnet and take some risks as they do, it's very difficult to add value if, as a fund manager, you're running a much bigger and a more widely spread fund. You have to include many, if not most of the companies that are in, for instance, the FTSE or other indices. So more often than not, you may as well go for those passive funds, as they agreed has been proven in the last couple of years, when most of those active funds, which should have come into their own in difficult times, when you might think someone firmly at the helm could avoid the stormy waters, well, many of those have actually done far worse than the passive funds. QED, as my maths teacher might have said? Well, maybe.